Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure vehicle review. Today, we're going to look at the Mattel Wrestling WWE Wrekkin Slam Crusher Monster Truck. Now this is the Target exclusive blue version. I got the Walmart black version a long time ago, and it's a big vehicle, but nothing super spectacular. I was aware of the variation at Target, and $50, I was like, no thanks. And I was waiting for them to mark it down, waiting for them to mark it down. I saw it for $35, and I was like, nope, not doing it. And today, I saw it for $12, so I thought, let's snatch this bad boy up. Definitely worth $12. I went back to that same Target the next day, and they were all gone. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, wrestling. 8 breakaway pieces, unassembled, Wrekkin Slam Crusher Monster Truck by Mattel. Here it is in the package. It looks like this one doesn't come with a figure. The Walmart one came with a Steve Austin figure. Mildly interesting because I believe they're priced the same. Big monster truck, big giant wheels. Could potentially be useful. On one side of the package, got the monster truck. Back, a bunch of different wrestlers in and out of the truck, fighting each other, ripping pieces off. Here are all the different action features. There is the barcode, if that helps anybody. So with no further ado, let's open it up. In addition to the blue one, I got the black one several months ago. This one was a Walmart exclusive, and this one came with a figure and cost the same, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Alright, now that these vehicles out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They come with a basic Steve Austin figure, at least the black one does, and I guess that's its accessory. They don't really have any traditional accessories, but there are a lot of removable parts. So these are 2 new vehicles from Mattel's WWE Wrekkin line. They've done a car, motorcycle, ambulance, and now we have a couple monster trucks. This is the Slam Crusher Monster Truck, both the blue version and the Stone Cold Steve Austin black version. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the vehicles. We'll check out all the action features, measurements, and then we'll check them out with a bunch of other vehicles and see what action figures fit in it from different various companies. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's start off by taking a look at the Steve Austin figure. Like I said, this is a basic wrestling figure, usually on the cheap end of things, about $10. Basic articulation, etc. But it is sort of like a free figure that came with the monster truck, so that's pretty cool. So, starting with his face, bald head, he's got a goatee, muscular arms, Austin 316 on his black sleeveless shirt. Same thing that's on the monster truck. Like I said, basic articulation, you can see the legs simply go forward and back about like this. Old school style hips, single jointed knees, single jointed elbows. Puts a regular guy in a black sleeveless shirt and some blue jeans. So I can put him to some use as a background character, thug, or civilian in my action figure world. This Steve Austin figure clocks in around 6.9 inches tall. Pretty tall guy, especially for a basic figure. And his articulation, kind of limited. His head can rotate side to side. Can't really look up and down much. Shoulders go up way more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Single jointed elbow with rotation. His wrists rotate and is hinged. Waist swivel. Legs go forward, disappointing that much. And back, where they go forward. Single jointed knee. And the ankles rotate a little bit. Like I said, basic articulation, but we're not here to talk about the figure. We're here to talk about the vehicles. And speaking of, here they are. Let's take a look at the black one first. And they are 100% the same vehicle, just different stickers, different decals, different paint job. So we have the engine up here, and that's part of the breakaway features. Push that, it causes something else to break apart. On the front, we have the grille, headlights, auto stickers, and the license plate that says Wrekkin. It has large rubber wheels. You can kind of see them pushing in there. They're not hard plastic. They do spin together, the 2 front ones, and the 2 back ones also spin together. You can see some of the decals. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 316 Austin, and the wrestling logo. We have a little sort of ladder or step stool to get up into the monster truck. Some large lights on the top. You can actually put a figure on the inside there. There's a steering wheel. We'll take a closer look at that in just a little bit. Back wheels appear to be exactly the same as the front wheels. Back of the vehicle, pretty blank. It does have a little hook so you can potentially drag something. Bottom of the vehicle looks like so, pretty basic. And the top, we do have a couple pegs for the figures to stand up on the back. So you can put, looks like 2 on the back here, 1 on the inside, and maybe even 1 on the little ladder there. And then of course we have the blue one. Like I said, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Front, Wrekkin, grill, etc. Engine here, similar wheels. It's missing all the Stone Cold decals. It simply has some wrestling and Wrekkin stickers here. Same engine, same lights at the top. Like I said, everything else is exactly the same except for the stickers and the paint job. A closer look at these vehicles. Honestly, they're pretty basic, very plasticky looking, no real texture. We have this sort of crappy canopy put on top of these large wheels with a little bit of an engine or body on the inside. But it's pretty much exactly what I expected from the Wrekkin line. And then, here's the vehicle, broken down as far as it can go, with all of its removable parts detached. Now to check out the measurements of these vehicles, and they're exactly the same. So, as far as how long it is from front to back, from the back wheel to the front wheel, about 13.5 inches. From bottom to the tallest point at the top of the lights, about 11.5 inches tall. And as far as how wide it is, about 9 inches wide, maybe more like 8.5. Now let's check out the action features on this thing. So of course, we have the wheels that spin. All 4 of the wheels spin in sets of 2. And then you can put a figure into the driver's seat, and we'll check that out in just a little bit. In fact, we'll check out a bunch of different action figures, which ones can fit inside of here. And then we have the breakaway features, and there are quite a bit of breakaway parts. So, one action feature we have is if you hit the engine, bam, the back part flies off, exposing some little footholds for a figure that can stand there on the back. And it kind of rotates from side to side. You can push this again, and it'll launch your figure back. So it's like a double action feature between the engine and the back piece. Here's how it looks onto the back when the floor pieces are missing, and then when they're attached. It's actually a pretty cool action feature, and it works pretty well. So here's a look at Steve Austin standing in the back, and let's try that action feature. And once again, here's a look at Steve Austin standing in the back with the flat part removed, and let's check out the action feature again. He spun right off that thing, worked like a charm. Next, we have these lights on top. The lights can come off of the vehicle, and you can have a figure hold them and hit the other figures with them. And then the canopy or the entire top of the car comes apart. Simply pull the pieces. It comes off. You can see all the little holes. It even says R for right side. Both sides come off, exposing the sort of shell or frame of the vehicle. And that's how you can put your figure in. Now that you've cleared some space, it's easy to access the inside. And then we have some of the top pieces. So this bar in the back, you pop that thing off, and that thing's removable. You can hit your figures with that. Then you also have the seat here, and the seat itself comes out of the vehicle, leaving the inside looking like this. It also has this little step stool or ladder that you can attach to the side, allowing your figure to climb up and get inside. Simply pops off, goes in. Now this is on the passenger side of the vehicle. You can attach to either side. Now it's a one-seater, so it really doesn't matter which side it goes onto. There is no passenger seat on this vehicle. This truck came with 2 of the tires not attached. That way you can fit into the package a little easier. And I thought maybe you could pull them off, but it's a one-time thing. When you put them on, this part's going to go through and click into place, and it's going to be very difficult if you want to remove them. But if you want to take the rubber tire off of the sort of rim, you can do that, and then you can actually put a figure inside of here and sort of roll them down there, making them get dizzy and beat up. Now, I actually couldn't fit the Steve Austin figure into the tire. His articulation is pretty bad in the hips, and he's a pretty tall figure. But I put a little smaller Rey Mysterio in there. You can have Steve Austin, kick him out of the way. And then the last action feature is you can put actual figures into the driver's seat. So Steve Austin here, who's a pretty large basic wrestling figure, he fits in there, no problem. The seat itself can actually be adjusted. You pull it out, it's got two little pegs at the bottom, and you can attach it a little bit further back like so, or a little bit farther forward, but that'll really limit the ability to put figures in there. So I like to keep that thing back, put the figure in there, and he has the rough articulation on his legs. They barely go forward. And at first I thought I could only get him this far, but no, just kind of work it a little bit and he fits all the way in. And if you wanted to take the time and energy, you can actually get Steve Austin to grip onto the steering wheel. Here's how Steve Austin looks with the entire canopy attached. It looks pretty good, and it fits in pretty good. Now, you would think the breakaway features, this thing might be falling apart constantly, but it's not. They do a pretty good job. For example, you have these two pieces that connect together, and then you plug the lights into it. It helps support the entire thing. Then you also have this stool, or ladder, whatever, that goes on one side, and it has another little step stool on the other side. And even though I feel like it's painfully obvious, just wanted to mention that both these vehicles have the exact same measurements and the exact same action features. And hell, you can even utilize the Wrekkin features on some of the other Wrekkin vehicles and combine it with a monster truck. Here's a monster truck driving on top of one of the Mattel Wrekkin cars, and the front is completely ripping apart. Works perfect for this type of scenario. Now let's check them out next to some other vehicles, starting off with some other Mattel wrestling Wrekkin vehicles. Here are these two Wrekkin monster trucks next to the Wrekkin cars. This is the first item in the Wrekkin line, and it's a fantastic 1/12 scale car. It's a nice all-purpose vehicle. You can fit almost any 6 and 7 inch action figure inside of them. Very roomy, very spacious, and very useful in the action figure collection. So useful, in fact, that I decided to get 2 of each color car, giving me a total of 4 extra cars that can fit pretty much any action figures I collect inside. Then they released the Wrekkin motorcycle. They had a red and a black one, and recently released a purple one. Then they released the Wrekkin ambulance, or rather slambulance, and this thing is fantastic. It can fit pretty much any 6 or 7 inch figure in the front, 2 of them, and a whole bunch in the back. Comes with a stretcher. Just overall, an awesome vehicle. And I imagine it's no surprise to you guys out there, but I also got 2 of those Wrekkin slambulances, and I got 2 more of the Wrekkin slambulances, and had them customized into GCPD SWAT vans. These are some grails in my collection. Very pleased with how they turned out, although you can see some of the paint chipping off the top. Later they made a Wrekkin forklift, and I'll tell you, this thing sucks pretty bad. And the most recent Wrekkin vehicle I'm aware of is this Wrekkin semi-truck, which had potential to be so cool, and it's not bad, but I wish it had the trailer in the back instead of this sort of ball thing. But of course, then it wouldn't be accurate to its appearance. So here are all the different Mattel wrestling Wrekkin vehicles they've made. Motorcycles, semi-truck, monster truck, cars, ambulances, and of course, the forklift. There's an upcoming Wrekkin vehicle, and it's a lowrider, and that thing looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm without a doubt going to be getting 2 of those. Here are those 2 monster trucks, with my cat molder between them. Now let's check it out with some other recent vehicles that I've gotten. But first, I wanted to check it out. The Wrekkin monster truck next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batmobeast. These things totally remind me of each other. Basically, it's a monster truck with giant wheels and a blue canopy. In addition to that, McFarlane made 2 different versions of Batmobeast. One with a blue canopy, and one completely gray with this sort of shell or frame. And if you take off the top part of the black one, pretty similar parallels here. Two from Mattel, one black, one blue, one without the top, just the shell or frame, and the exact same with the McFarlane Batmobeasts. Here they are, next to the recent McFarlane DC Multiverse White Knight Batmobile, and with the recent McFarlane DC Multiverse Dark Knight Trilogy Tumbler. Now let's check out some action figures from different various companies inside the vehicle. That way you know which lines you can use with it if you want to mix it with other stuff. I'm going to start off with the large action figure lines I collect and work way smaller. Here it is next to a Jack specific wrestling figure. Fits in there, absolutely no problem. And these are some big bulky figures with horrible articulation. And here it is with a DST or Diamond Select toy. And I picked one of my larger Diamond Select toys, Samuel Jackson here from Pulp Fiction. And he also fits in, no problem. Here's a Todd McFarlane figure from McFarlane's Spawn line. Fits no problem. Here's a DC Direct figure in the cockpit. He fits good. I did try to put a Batman figure in there with a hard plastic cape from DC Direct, and I just couldn't make it work. Here's a NECA figure in this thing. All the figures I'm putting in here fit in no problem. It's going to get to a point where maybe they might be too small for this thing, but everything's good so far. Here's a Mattel Wrestling Elite figure in the driver's seat. We know the Wrestling Basic figures fit because we put Steve Austin in there earlier, and he's one of the larger Wrestling Basic figures that are out there. Well, except for the giant ones. But here's an Elite figure, and he fits also no problem. And then a Jazzwares AEW wrestling figure, and I picked about the largest one that I could find. He also fits in there. Maybe a little bit close on top, but I'm sure I could close the canopy, no problem. Here's a Mezco 112 collective figure, still fitting no problem. And now, a Mattel DC Universe Classics figure. And here's a Mayfix figure sitting in this thing. It's definitely a little bit smaller, but still looks decent. Here's a Hasbro Marvel Legends figure. I picked one of the larger ones I could find, Tombstone. Perfect fit. And then an SH Figure Arts action figure. A little on the small side, but doesn't look bad. And finally, here's a Jazzwares Fortnite figure. It also fits in there, definitely on the small side. So basically, any action figure from 6 or 7-inch scale will fit this thing with complete clearance, no problem. So overall, these are some cool vehicles if you want a monster truck for your 6-inch scale figures. It also works just fine for a 7-inch scale. Now, the two vehicles, they look good. They definitely don't look great. The tires look okay. The body looks a little bit on the cheap side. And you have to kind of take it apart to be able to put a figure in there, so it's not really convenient. But still pretty cool nonetheless. You can have this thing driving around the city, wrecking other cars. Then you can have the thing itself getting all wrecked and beat up, falling apart. You can have your figures pick up the pieces, beat each other down with them. A ton of possibilities for this thing. A monster truck is a little bit less common than a regular car or semi-truck or motorcycle, and that's why I originally got those for all-purpose vehicles in my collection. And this one may not quite fit the bill, but I'm sure I can put it to good use over the years. Sculpt and paint job, they're good, but like I said, it looks a little bit on the cheap side of things. The action features, they all work very well. They're actually kind of cool. His accessories, really non-existent, but if you count all the different pieces, it has plenty of stuff. If I were to rate these monster trucks, I'm probably going to give them like a 6.5. Now, two reasons. Number one, they do kind of look to be on the cheap side of things. And number two, I'm not going to get as much use out of them as a regular car, which I can use for all kind of different figures and scenarios. A monster truck, maybe if I have some redneck guys driving around Gotham City, or just the monster trucks, maybe stolen from Monster Truck Rally, etc., etc., but I won't be able to put them to nearly as much use as those cars, which are fantastic, by the way. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.